Turn the mic on. Truth in the building. No filters. No politics. No apologies. Dr. Ken, let's go. We don't quit till the whole thing shake. Truth hit hard, make the whole world wait. Real talk loud when the system fade. Stand tall, even when the whole ground break. No fear, no foe, no retreat. Pressure make diamonds when the fire meet heat. All gas, no brakes. When the truth gon' speak, Dr. Ken in the booth.
Truth don't sleep.
Came from the bottom when survival was a law. Learn real quick what respect really costs. Everybody got opinions from afar, but they ain't never had to carry those scars. Built from pressure, discipline, pain. Some lose focus, some lose aim. Some sell souls just to chase that fame. I build my brick by brick, no shame. See the world get weak when it need a moment. Too many followers pretending they friends. Too many loudmouths scared to defend any real conviction when the pressure set in. But I stand on business, stand on code, stand on truth when the lies explode. Some fold up when the road gets cold. Some become legends when the story gets told. We don't quit till the whole thing shake. Truth hit hard, make the whole world wait. Real talk loud when the system fades. Stand tall, even when the whole ground breaks. No fear, no foe, no retreat. Pressure make diamonds when the fire meet heat. All gas, no brakes. When the truth gon' speak, Dr. Ken is on.
Truth don't sleep.
Frank. Candid.
Straight to the point.
If nobody else gon' say it, I will. Yeah. Mic check, truth coming live again. Built for the storm, I don't hide from wind. Everybody tough when the lights are bright. Different story when it's dark outside at 10. I done seen pride make kings collapse. Seen weak minds get trapped in traps. Seen good people never fight back. Seen fake leaders disappear too fast. So I speak for the workers, speak for the tired, speak for the people still trying to climb higher. Speak for the ones still building through fire, trying to lead this world better than prior. And if the truth hurt, let it hurt a little. Growth don't happen staying safe in the middle. Either build your life or become a riddle. Either move the crowd or get played like fiddle. We don't quit till the whole thing shake. Truth hit hard, make the whole world wait. Real talk loud when the system fades. Stand tall, even when the whole ground break. No fear, no foe, no retreat. Pressure make diamonds when the fire meet heat. All gas, no brakes. When the truth gon' speak, Dr. Ken in the booth.
Truth don't sleep.
Dr. Ken's truth. Frank, Dr. Ken's truth. Dr. Ken's truth. Dr. Ken's truth. Frank, Candid.
Straight to the point, to the point.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. I'm Dr. Ken Harris, and this is Dr. Ken's Truth. What's going on? It's Thursday. It's Pop-Off Thursday. I know y'all been talking in the chat wanting me to do Friday, but, I need a rest day. And if I travel on Friday. So, I'm just saying, can y'all give a brother a break? Give me a break. Give me a break. Let me check the YouTube chat. Hey, what's up? Study Hall is here. Kwanda, how are you? How's it going, everybody? Hey, Lucretia. Todd, what's going on, Todd? Todd was the one harassing me. Was it Friday or is it Thursday? I don't know. Curly Q said, good afternoon, Dr. Ken, and hello, chat. It's Pop-Off Friday. Thursday. I wish it was Friday. Yeah, I do too. Kwanda. Todd said, Kwanda, do you think we can pressure him to have back-to-back bonus edition Fridays? I don't know. It depends on how I feel. I don't feel too well now. I don't feel too well. I'm kind of like dragging a little bit. I don't know. SE is here. What's going on? Todd said, hi, Curly. I thought it was Friday when I woke up, but nope. Back to normal. So there you go. SE said, same Todd. Todd said, soon, SE, and then put up the prayer. I don't know. Todd said, Dr. Ken, I would think you are at home, not at the top secret location today. Well, I was there, did a back And then I'll probably go back later because that's my chill day. I get to go there and hang out and just sit around and twiddle. What is twiddling anyway? Quanda said, taken up for me. Absolutely not, Todd. Would be nice, but at this point, he's running on fumes these last couple of days. Let him rant and rest. Couldn't have said it better myself. Then I said Friday is rest day. Then Quanda watching her watch. Cue the music. What's up, Willie? How's it going? Aaron, how's it going? Lucretia, how's it going? Then they did the bestie thing. Lucretia said, Dr. Ken, can we get a study hall t-shirt? Yes, tell me what you want on it so I can put it on Printify. By the way, if you want to support the show, you can go to drkenswag.printify.me. Yeah, hey, what's up, SRRR? What's going on? I'm reading the YouTube chat, by the way. What do you want on the study hall shirt? You want us to just say study hall, or I'm a study hall regular, or like what exactly do you want the shirt to actually say? If you let me know what you want it to say, then I'll go ahead and do it. Let me know. Let me know. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. By the way, let me put my poll in the chat now, because y'all be distracting me, because I got a story I want to cover. No, I'm not going. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. I'll put it in early. Don't answer the question yet. All right. Don't answer the question yet. I'm going to put it in there, and I'll tell you when I want you to answer it. And that way we can do it that way. All right. Is that good? Can I trust you all enough not to answer the question because you don't have context yet? And sometimes we jump at things that influence us, and they make us do things either too soon or too late. I was kicking around. I'm just on this thing about the Black community because Kathleen mentioned Black Reconstruction in America, and that is a thick book by W.E.B. Du Bois. So I got to pick a chapter or two and do that for the book this month. But there are some destructive things that are influencing and disrupting the Black community. Here are the two that I think they are: addiction and debt. Now, what makes them dangerous is that they have something in common. They take control of your tomorrow by satisfying something today. So what's an addiction? Now, Aaron said I could trust y'all, by the way, so I put it in there. What's an addiction? Addiction is anything that you say I need right now. Sometimes how I get when I get the sugar and candy and stuff. Debt is I want it now. And both can leave you paying for that decision long after that moment has passed. Now, when we hear the word addiction, we think about drugs, alcohol, substance abuse. And yes, it's devastated families, friends, colleagues, neighborhoods. But addiction is bigger than a substance. We're talking about gambling, ladies, shopping, social media, food, attention, status, approval, even spending money. Anything that controls your decision instead of you controlling it can become destructive. And addiction does not affect the person with the addiction. It's your household, it's your children, your relationships, your job. People have been fired for it, your finances, your neighborhoods. But when something takes control of a person, everybody connected to the person can end up paying part of the price. But there's another destructive force, and we've talked about it, debt. Debt is interesting because unlike addiction, debt is socially acceptable. Owing people money is acceptable. And before you know it, you're working today to pay off stuff you bought yesterday, and it controls your tomorrows. Now, understand something. We know not all debt is bad. It's a financial tool, a mortgage, and all that. But addiction and debt have now become what I believe to be a community issue. They're real. But we also have to be willing to talk about the things in our control, because we can't demand economic empowerment publicly and then everything you do devastates you privately. That's the trap. And that's where addiction and debt meet. Both depend heavily on immediate gratification. Now get this. Addiction says, how can I feel better right now? Debt says, how can I have it right now? And communities cannot become economically strong without disciplined individuals, you and me, disciplined households, you and me. What are you spending money on that you can't seem to stop buying? Well, mine is Altoids. What behavior keeps damaging your future? What temporary satisfaction keeps producing a permanent consequence? I know the questions are uncomfortable, but progress begins with uncomfortable questions. And the Black community here in Milwaukee does not need another generation that looks successful, but really isn't. I see people walking around with Gucci shoes, Coach purses, and jacked up hair. And this is me, ladies. This is just me. You can tell a lot about a woman by the way you look at her fingernails. If you got dirt under your fingernails, if you got janky nails, I'm not talking about fake nails. I'm not talking about extensions on your nails. I'm not talking about long flowing nails. I'm not talking about polish. I'm just talking about clean. Freedom is about how much control you have over your life. Addiction takes away control. Debt takes away control. So maybe one of the most revolutionary things we can do in our community and our families, own our decisions instead of allowing our desires to own us. I know it sounds weird. Sometimes freedom begins the moment we decide to break both addiction and debt. Because you got to remember, the strongest chains aren't always made of steel. Sometimes they're made of habits.
More on Vote 2026. The races for Minnesota governor and an open U.S. Senate seat could be the most competitive and most expensive in state history. Chief political reporter Tom Hauser looks at the matchups featuring 4 female candidates.
One thing we know for sure is Minnesota will have its first female governor, either Republican Lisa Demuth or Democrat Amy Klobuchar. It's also all but certain these races will set fundraising records.
Just the top part here?
Yep. Republican Michelle Tafoya ran as a political outsider in the primary. It resulted in a resounding victory over the GOP-endorsed candidate Adam Schwarzy. Now she's ready to take on a political insider on the DFL side.
We've had a crisis of leadership here. We've seen what career politicians have done in this state. They've brought us to a place of national embarrassment, and this state is ready for change.
Thank you, Minnesota!
Tafoya is referring to the winner of the DFL Senate primary, Peggy Flanagan, who overcame a big fundraising disadvantage in her race against Angie Craig. Flanagan is confident in her matchup with Tafoya another well-funded opponent.
For months now, I have been telling you that this campaign was about the many versus the money.
After winning the GOP governor primary, Lisa Demuth will battle a well-financed DFL opponent in Amy Klobuchar. Klobuchar faced just minor opposition in her DFL primary. But Demuth will try to tie Klobuchar to DFL fraud issues.
I am feeling hopeful because this is an opportunity to turn Minnesota back around.
Klobuchar will do her best to tie Demuth to President Donald Trump.
We need a governor who is going to put Minnesotans first and not be a rubber stamp of Donald Trump.
Political analyst Stephen Scheer says these races will have one thing in common.
I think you're going to see an awful lot of money spent in both the governor's and the Senate race.
And along with those two races, there is also an attorney general's race between incumbent Democrat Keith Ellison and Republican Ron Schutz that could also set fundraising records.
So, did anybody find anything strange about that? Anybody? Anybody? So, here's the issue I'm having. The first person they talked about is Tafoya. She's a former sideline reporter for, I think, the NFL or NBA, or she did sports and all that, right? She's been around for years. She's in her 50s. She's well-known, household name, if you understand sports. And then Amy Klobuchar. You knew her from the Biden administration. So you got all these names. Then you got these other two women running for Senate. The woman, Demuth, or Demuth that they called her, that's running for governor, she's a black female. Now, what's wrong with this picture? They never, ever said what her race was. They never said, well, it doesn't matter. Well, it matters a great deal. She's a black female Republican. And so my question is, why didn't they mention her name? Why didn't they say her name? Was it race or politics? Is it that they just don't like Republicans, which most media don't? Most media leans left. They do the same thing in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. I got a story about that later. We're talking about the first time in Minnesota history, two women made the ticket on the Democratic side and the Republican side. The Democrat is white, Amy Klobuchar, and Demuth is black, a Republican, and they never mentioned her race. And then the bad part, they mentioned her last, as if the Senate race is more important than they kind of mention the governor, and then they go to the Senate and show the two women talking, and then they show Klobuchar first, and then they show the black woman last. Now, maybe I'm just reading into it, but you got it in the YouTube chat. Is it racism or is it politics? Any other time, they would have been touting race. Oh, my God, it's two black people. Look at what they're doing to David Crowley. He's a black male. He's the first black male. He may be governor, and he's the first black. Is he the first black male to get the Democratic nomination for governor? I don't know. Probably. It's Wisconsin. But think about that. We haven't heard anything about her. People have no idea she's running. We hear about Florida. We hear about all that, right? But we never hear anything. Here she is running. And I'm not saying vote for the Republican. I'm not saying that. I'm saying this is how the news media treats us. You have no idea about her. You know nothing about her. Didn't come up in the national news for the primaries at all. Like nothing. It's like the only people running in the country are Democrats. And I'm saying be equitable when you do it. She just happens to be a Republican, but she's a black woman. And she's running. And she made history by simply being nominated as a woman. But when you talk about being nominated as a woman, the person they point to is Klobuchar, as if she's the only woman in the race. It's just insulting. When they brought it up, when they did it, I'm going to show you a headline later. It it just amazes me and bothers me how the media continues to bash us, how the media continues to downplay us. If it had been two Democrats that were both female, black and white, or any minority, that's all you would have heard about. But because it was a Republican, you don't hear it. And if they'll do it with them, what other things have they done when it's two Democrats running? They play up the white Democrat. They play up the white person, even if they don't really care about that person's politics. And I just find it interesting. So I put in the YouTube chat, was it racism or media bias? Well, had some votes. 2 people said racism, 2 people said media bias. Personally, I think it's both. I just wanted to show you all that so that you could see the weirdness of the media. I'll just call them that. I'll just call them the media. I'll be nice today. I'll be nice today. So make sure you vote based on that clip, and want to say thank you, compliments of ABC 5 in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So, anywho, let me go back. Lucretia said, chime in, what y'all thinking? Because I asked y'all a question. Study hall, what y'all want on the shirt? Todd said, no one is normal. It just looks that way from across the street. Aaron said, God help you if you're addicted and in debt. Wow. Ronnie Ray Real said, that's interesting coming from a guy. Normally, it's the other way around. Females look at nails and shoes. And well, I don't know. I mean, you don't want a well-kept woman. Nice nails, nice hair. Come on now. Come on. I'm just saying. Aaron said, unfortunately, few blacks respect black Republicans outside black Republicans. And why is that? Well, Todd answered that question. He said the media despises black Republicans. And they only support you if you're voting Democrat. And then you have to be running against another black person, because if you run against a white person, odds are they're not going to back you. And so I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen in Wisconsin with David Crowley. Will the state vote him in because he's the best person? I don't know. One would hope so. We'll see. Now, getting back to you all talking about this debt versus addictions. So I've identified 5 addictions and 5 debt related things that black people need to look at. And I'm gonna start with debt because that's my wheelhouse, and that's the one thing that I love, talking about money and investing and stuff like that. Here are the 5 things I believe black people cause themselves so many issues and so many problems that we forget that freedom begins the moment we decide to break both debt and addiction. And we forget that the strongest chains aren't made of steel. They are made of habits, bad habits, that thought you have in your head. Remember, I think it was last week or maybe earlier this week, I talked about it's the second thought and the first action that dictates it. So yeah, you can think, ooh, I want them shoes. And then your second thought should be, don't buy those shoes. Because if your second thought is buy them shoes, you have an addiction problem. But anyway, I digress. Number 1, high interest card debt. Compound interest can make relatively small purchases extraordinarily expensive over time. Number 2, predatory and payday loans. I don't care how bad it is. Stay away from payday loan stores. High fees, repeated borrowing, and you just keep paying over and over and over, and all the money you pay goes to interest. You haven't paid the debt back unless you pay it all back at the same time. Excessive automobile debt. I don't understand. High loan terms, expensive cars, high interest rate, negative equity because your car rarely appreciates. It might hold it well, like a Toyota or an expensive car, like maybe a Lexus or a Mercedes or something. It takes a long time for the equity to wear down to nothing, how much the car is worth. But at some point, it's going to wear out and you're going to be stuck upside down just paying. Like I remember saying one time, I guess we'll just have a car note for the rest of our lives. Not true. Not true. You can actually get used to having an older car. My car is 12 years old, and I hope to drive it at least another 2 or 3 years. And I'm saving up, and then I'm gonna buy another car, because I just can't think of something like when you buy it and you drive it off the lot, 15-20% of it's gone because now your car is considered used. So I don't know. Buy now, pay later, and consumer debt. Financing furniture, electronics, vacations, clothes, and everyday purchases can create numerous small obligations that collectively can become substantial. Imagine using a credit card to buy food and then paying it off. I just had a bad thought. So you eat the food, you drink the drinks, and then you go to the bathroom. A couple hours later, it's gone. It's not in your stomach. You're hungry again. You're thirsty again, but you still got the debt sitting on your credit card. Just think about that. And then finally, unmanageable student loan debt. We've been hearing about that forever. They do not want you to get rid of your school loan debt because they make up to $1 trillion a year, if not more, on interest from school loans. That's why it's so hard to get rid of them. It's so hard to. Now you can own $1 billion company. ChatGPT, just use as an example. ChatGPT can file bankruptcy. Microsoft can file bankruptcy. Walk out the next day and start again. Man, nobody say anything. But you can't do it with your school loans. Oh, it has to be an extreme case and then they'll let you do it. It's ridiculous. Education can be an investment, but borrowing heavily for a credential that produces insufficient earnings can delay ownership, investing, entrepreneurship, retirement savings, living, paying your rent, paying for your expensive car, all that stuff. Addiction consumes money you have. Debt spends money you haven't made yet. Put them together, and you can rob a family of today and tomorrow at the same time. Now let's look at addictions. Yeah, we get drug addiction, and I'm not downplaying it. It can damage your health, your employment, your family, all that, your stability. You can lose your house. You can get arrested, all that stuff. Same thing with alcohol. That's my first two. But then what about gambling? What was that y'all mentioned the other day? Y'all mentioned it the other day. Hey, what's up, Jasmine Jazz West? Y'all mentioned it the other day. Those betting places where you can bet. Sherwin talks about it all the time. Those betting places where you can bet on pretty much anything, right? Like, for instance, had you put money on David Crowley winning, you made a chunk of change. You could put in 300. What was it? Is you can put in, I think someone was talking about, you could put in like $300 and make $1,500 back, or $50 and make $1,500 back based on the odds. But if you voted for Hong, you'd have to put in $1,500 to make $300. So you got that. Consumer shopping, compulsive spending on clothes, electronics, cars, luxury, status symbols to make yourself look like you got something and you don't. It was Kalshi betting. Yes, it was Kalshi. Kalshi. Crazy. Gambling addiction. Just makes absolutely no sense. And then finally, of course, digital or social media addiction, excessive attention to social media, gaming, entertainment can consume time that might otherwise go towards education, relationships, work, entrepreneurship, building a sandcastle, whatever it is. It's probably better than being stuck on social media, but we like to do what we do. And so those are the things that I think, addiction and debt, that are robbing the Black community, especially in Milwaukee, of all the things that they can have and all the things that they can do. And we keep complaining about it, but if we had our own money in our pocket It doesn't matter what city government does. Doesn't matter what county government does. It doesn't matter what state government does. Doesn't matter what federal government does. You have control over you. But more importantly, you have control over your future. And that's one thing you can never change. That's just one thing you can never change. So that was my pop off for today. That just drove me crazy. That and that video from Minnesota that pretended like black people aren't here. How are people supposed to know if the media only goes one way? If the media only talks one way? Todd said, Dr. Ken, we're able to check out Mayor's show with Mike Lopez Friday. Yes, I did. I checked out the show. I did check out the show. It was an interesting show. He talked about Franny, and I wonder what he's going to say tomorrow about the fact that Franny lost. So, somebody made a point that AOC and Bernie Sanders did not support her because they thought she was going to win. And beyond the polls in Milwaukee having issues and problems getting messed up and having issues like 4 times since 2004. It's only 2 years. They're averaging 2 a year, 2 elections a year where something goes bad or run out of ballots or stuff like that. And that's fairly normal. We got to take a look at where are we going as a country when we move towards socialism. I'm just saying. Let me go back to my poll because I had a poll talking about racism versus bias in that ABC5 Minneapolis story about the black female Republican and the white female Democrat, Amy Klobuchar and Damath, who were both running. And so 60% said racism, 40% said it's media bias. So, interesting. I just find it interesting. I find it really unfortunate because those are the types of things that we need to look at. So let me jump into my top 5 before 5. But before that, is Babar here yet? Babar's not here? All right, I could tell, the only reason I do weather is because of Babar. He always complained, what's the weather? 75 degrees, feels like 75. The high today was 76. The low tonight's going to be 67. Sunset is at 7:56. It's coming. Do we need to leave daylight savings time? Do we need to leave it in? What say you? Do we need to leave it in? Because the way the world turns, we would, they don't want people traveling in the dark. But I guess it's okay at 7 a.m. for it to be dark. But it's not okay at 7 p.m. to be dark. It's just weird. I don't get it. I don't know what it'll take to change it. I mean, the earth doesn't change. It still goes round. So I don't know. I've never dived or dove into it. Anyway, so I think that's something we need to look at. But that's the weather. Right now it's 75 degrees, and then it'll start dropping around 5 p.m. and go down to about 67. So we'll see. It won't hit 67 until about, 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Hopefully I'll be fast asleep, as Quanda said, resting, because it's been a wild week. It's been an election week. It's been a wild week. I haven't been able to get sleep all week long. It's crazy. Jasmine said, I don't like traveling to and from work in the dark. I catch the bus everywhere. That's good point. Good point. But here's a question. Would you rather it be dark at night or dark during the day? If we keep daylight savings time, it'll be light on both ends. And I think we should keep that. Sarenthia said, I don't want children going to school in the dark. Parents can come home and work in the dark. Don't change it. So you want to keep daylight savings time. Makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. Well, when we come back, you know what it is. Top 5 and after, before. When is it? Maybe I should go to top 4 before 4. No? Top 4 after 4? Top 5 before 5? Or top 5 at 5? That means I would have to stay late. I'm going to follow what Jasmine Jazz West said. I'm going to keep it. Well, we know, I guess I can say it, who wins again? Construction companies.
Number 5.
Well, there's an interesting story that we have coming up, and I think you'll find it, as always, not benefiting taxpayers. From WISN 12, you may have heard the I-94 East-West Corridor Expansion project in Milwaukee, which aims to widen the freeway from 8 lanes, to 8 lanes and reconstruct the stadium interchange, may now take up to 10 years. 10 years to complete it from the original 8. That's according to a report from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation. Spans from 16th to 70th. Already snarls traffic for nearly a year. It's in the early stages, and evidently there's more to follow. Motorist Gene Young said yesterday, it seems like there's never a time when traffic isn't bad. To be honest, it's a mess. Well, a new report from WSDOT, Wisconsin Department of Transportation, attributes the potential delay to construction price increases, which have added $60 million to the cost. Drivers were asked if they were surprised to hear the price hike, and they said, of course not. The Transportation Projects Commission reports states specifically the reason for the cost hike is increased real estate and construction costs, primarily due to updated bid estimates and impacts on utility relocation delays. Here's a problem I have. The total cost is now estimated to be $1.71 billion, and we have a delay, and we're going to be paying the construction people 2 additional years worth of money. And who's going to pay for that? The Department of Transportation Secretary suggested in the report that the 2-year delay could potentially be avoided if lawmakers shift funding from future budget years to the next 4 years. But you can't guarantee it. You can't guarantee it. So, I don't know. And, we had an election the other day. Election certification is underway.
Number 4.
Am I number 4? Did y'all hear number 4? Let me know in the YouTube chat. Let me hit it again.
Number 4.
All right. Maybe I just didn't click it hard enough. I don't know. From CBS 58, while winners have been announced in the August primary this past Tuesday, election officials in Milwaukee County are working to certify the results. This comes after human error caused a delay in the process on Tuesday. Election Commission Executive Director Paulina Gutierrez said they discovered 5 of the 9 flashes, and they had all that problem, and it took too long, and they went back and forth, and the delay and all that. And David, I'm sorry, what's the name? Oh, I'm sorry, Michelle Hawley, Director of the Milwaukee Election Commission, said, I recognize people are concerned. I think we should all be concerned about our elections these days. I also want to say that in Milwaukee County and across Wisconsin, there are a lot of checks and balances, and sometimes mistakes happen. And our job is to mitigate that error and make sure we get it rectified as soon as possible. Yeah. Especially when it's 1 o'clock in the morning. And of course, today is what? Thursday, new day, new tragedy.
Number 3.
If you haven't heard from CBS 58, a 16-year-old boy is dead following a shooting near 40th and Clark. Happened today around 9:30 a.m. According to police, a suspect in a car, get this, fired a shot at the victim, subsequently striking him. The 16-year-old died at the scene, and there were no arrests made. And in our next story, well, JS Online is at it again. The headline doesn't fit the story.
Number 2.
So I'm trying to figure this one out. Now, I'm going to show you this, and I'm going to let you see the headline, okay? So I'm going to show you the headline, and I want you to tell me, well, don't tell me because it'll take too long, but you can see it right here. Crowley win come out with turnout spike of Democratic primary voters. And you would think, oh my God, it's huge. Like all these people came out, right? The percentage in Wisconsin went from like 24% to 27%. That's from like last year to this year, like the last time they had a primary. Like really? 3 percentage points, and they're calling it a spike. They expected like a 35% turnout, you know, thinking it was going to be this big thing, and it wasn't. And so Democratic turnout in the August primary saw a surge higher than the contested race between 10 candidates in 2018. 3 percentage points? A surge? Y'all have lost y'all minds. And then finally, I thought I had heard everything. Take a little time with this story so you understand it. I thought I heard everything until I heard this.
Number 1.
So from news1.com, and I'm going to go slow. Yesterday, a black woman from Alaska gave birth to a baby in northern Texas after being locked in a contentious months-long legal battle with a California couple for whom she was meant to be a surrogate. Now, it all started last year when McKenna West, an Alaskan nurse and single mother of 2, became a surrogate with Worldwide Surrogacy Specialist Agency, was matched up with Nosheen Gilkar and Omar Ahmed, a couple from Los Angeles, California, and became pregnant with their child in December. Now, you got to have some loot to do surrogacy. You got to pay for everything. You got to pay the person. You got to do all this stuff. It's a lot of money. Well, according to Newsweek, West underwent an anatomy scan in her 20th week. This is 20 weeks. How many weeks is a birth? 36? 39? Something like that? 9 months, 9 times. I got public school math. 9 times 4. Okay. She and the couple received devastating news that hypoplastic left heart syndrome, HLHS, a serious heart condition, requires a series of surgeries and other treatments for the baby to survive. Now, I'm not going to go into what that is, but it's bad. Overwhelmed by the toll it would take for them to care for the baby with such a condition, the couple asked West to abort the baby. Of course, at that point, West was nearly 5 months into pregnancy. Most states have like a 6 week, right? In Alaska, doctors refused to perform it, and they said it's high risk, late-term abortion, and that's according to the lawsuit filed by West. Well, to get around the refusal of the doctors in Alaska to perform the abortion, the couple asked West to travel to Seattle for the procedure, which West refused to do, noting in her lawsuit that the baby's heart condition can be treated. Instead, West reportedly suggested that the biological parents simply cut ties with her and the baby. She also said her brother was willing to adopt the child, and according to West's lawsuit, though the couple refused that arrangement, threatened to sue her for $250,000 if she didn't abort the baby. Now, this is per Newsweek. The couple also tried to establish their parental rights of the unborn child, filed a petition of parentage in California that West said breached the terms of the surrogacy contract, which says that any legal proceedings should take place in Alaska where she lives. So here's what West did. And you tell me, She relocated to Texas, where elective abortions are banned at all stages of pregnancy, following Supreme Court's overturning of Roe v. Wade in 2022. West filed for custody of the child so she could allow doctors to perform the necessary surgeries once the baby, her baby as far as she's concerned, was born. Now, under Texas law, anyone who gives birth in the state is recognized as the legal mother of that child. And in surrogacy, you have to sign and have a contract that says you'll sign once you have the baby. You'll sign that baby over to the parents. But you don't have to, because many states have laws that say, hey, you can, if you change your mind, you can. All this culminated in a legal battle that involved the Alaska Superior Court, the California Second District Court of Appeals, and a Dallas court in Texas. But now the baby Gabriel, has been born. She gave birth yesterday morning, but that doesn't end it. Despite what Texas family law says about the birth parent automatically being the child's legal guardian in complex situations such as surrogacy or multi-state disputes, in this case, both, custody can be contested based on prior arrangements, genetic ties, or other issues by other states, in this case, all three. So according to a Dallas County court issued a restraining order against West, barring her from presenting herself as the baby's parent, guardian, or decision maker in medical situations to anyone. Meanwhile, pro-life is on the side, pro-choice is screaming. Although, to be clear, West says she publicly that she doesn't support abortion, and even made an appearance on a podcast that was a conservative podcast to talk about the matter. West also has support of Attorney General Ken Paxton. So the ongoing case is complicated. At the beginning of their arrangement, they were expecting a child, but now they want to terminate it after they learned the heart condition. West, on the other hand, was expected to give birth to a baby that she would then hand off to his biological parents. And now she's fighting to be the child's legal parent after refusing to terminate the pregnancy. So it's ongoing and it's never ending. What side do you fall on? And so Todd said she went to Texas to avoid the abortion and child's rights. Well, let's be honest. Children don't have rights. Parents do. Parents have control over their children. I'm not a supporter of giving a child hormones so that they can change themselves and change their sex and all that. If you want to change your identity, and if you want to dress whatever way you want, you're a child of God. You do you. But when you become an adult, then you can decide to do whatever it is you want to do with yourself. But as a child, children, and I gotta say, your brain don't start really functioning until you're about 25 or so. So until age 24, I would, if I were the czar of America, and I know this, I'm gonna get blasted in the media. I know that I'm gonna get blasted on X and everywhere, but I would tell children, you can't have any hormone therapy until you're an adult. Once you become an adult, I support you and love you. I don't matter who you are, whether you're trans or not. I don't care. God loves you all. Us. Anyway, but my point is, you're a child, and a parent ought not let a child make a decision like that. And then later, if there's one chance that the child might regret it, I think it's important to always err on the side of caution. And in that instance, as an adult, do as you please. Think about this. We don't let children smoke. We don't let them drive. We don't let them do a lot of things. Let them stay out after curfew. But if you decide you want to take a drug or change yourself physically to become another sex, that could possibly, not in all instances, but could possibly harm your body for the rest of your life, yeah, that's okay. As a child, no. As an adult, you make all the decisions for yourself. I don't think you should look down on people who make decisions that you disagree with. Love them like you love everybody else. But at some point, you ought not be doing that to a child. And so in this instance of surrogacy, we're talking about the law that just may favor Miss West, especially when it comes to abortion. That's a late-term abortion. That means that the mother could die while you're trying to kill the baby. That's scary. That's scary. Aaron said, I'm sorry, that mess doesn't make a bit of sense. Well, it kind of does if you understand surrogacy. Usually in most states, I don't know what you call her. The mother, the woman, the surrogate has to agree to the terms that are in the contract. And so they have to put in the contract that, you know, this is what can happen. And if this decision is made, you agree to abide by it. But when you want to do late term and you know that it's physically harmful to the parent, to the mother, I would think she would have a right to say, hey, no. Curly, you said, I don't think that was fair of them to ask her to put her body through that. That's insane, especially if she had someone willing to adopt the baby since they didn't want it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll keep an eye on that story, and we'll keep watching it. Todd said, what I meant is Texas protects children from that. True. However, we've got some states that protect children in instances where they should not be protected. Like sometimes we protect children who want to change their identity at school. And I think that's not something you should keep from a parent. But there are some school districts in America that say, hey, if you want to come to school and you're a boy and want to be a girl, or you're a girl and want to be a boy, we're not going to tell your parents. Absolutely not. If their parents say it's okay, it's okay. You can't pick and choose when parents have rights and when they don't have rights. Either they do or they don't. Either they can say it or not. Now, here's the other thing. You may not like it, but if a parent decides that they want their child to have an identity change or their child to have a sex change, that is a parent's right. But we fight about things, and we fight about controlling other people while we don't want to be controlled. And I don't get it. I just don't get it. It makes absolutely no sense to me. But I think we keep forgetting that we're fighting about the law, but there are humans involved. There are people involved, and they have feelings and they have thoughts. And I think it's only fair that we remember to be civil and to support everybody, regardless of who they are, regardless of what their lifestyle is, straight, gay, LGBTQ plus, whatever it is, that sometimes we forget God loves everybody. Well, it's been great hanging out with y'all today. Hope you had a good day. Hope you had a good time. I was going to out a person on here, but I'm not, because I saw their I'm not going to out them yet. Unless they want to be. They can identify themselves. But hey, what's up? And then I'm going to leave it at that. They won't know who it is. So we'll go from there. But hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out. I will see you on Monday. I don't know if I'm going to do a surprise pop-up tomorrow. If I do, it won't be a pop-off Friday. I'm just saying. Yep.
Quiet.
So we'll see. We will see. I'm glad the weekend is here. I'm glad that it's starting to slow down. It's starting to, be calm. I love the fall. So the fall is here. So let me go back through and say thanks to everybody. Kwanda, thank you so much. Todd, Curly Q, SE. I think I saw Aaron up in here saying the names that I remember. Willie, what's going on? Lucretia, Sincere, Ronnie Ray, Real. Anybody else I missed? Serenthia, Jasmine, Jazz West. Top 5 before 5. That's what she'll always be known as. She should change her moniker from Jasmine Jazz West to 5 before 5. I'm just kidding. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. But anyway, I want to say thank you. Have a great evening. God bless. Take care. Be safe. Stay cool. And Todd, you'll always be. Stick your head. You know it.